Fresh flowers can make all the difference when it comes to making it feel like spring inside your home. And this morning, Garden Guide Dale Kay showing off some of the best blooms for Easter.
Good morning to you. I know the weather outside is a little bit hickly-pickly, and that often happens in April, but no matter what the weather is like outdoors at this time of year, close to the Easter holiday, there is always an abundance, a cornucopia, if you like, of spring blooms that you can pick up from your favorite local garden shop and incorporate them into your home for the Easter holiday. So let's take a look at some of my favorites, and I'll let you know which ones you can transition outdoors for the spring in Minnesota. The first one here is this green shrub. I absolutely love it. It has a lot of nostalgia for me. I actually had one of these, or my parents had one of these planted out in front of one of my bedroom windows in Australia. And the best thing about this bloom is that little white flower there, and it is pure white, of course, but the best thing about it is the fragrance. Oh my gosh, it's really, really pungent, really, really delicious as far as fragrance goes, and a wonderful plant to have outdoors as a spring tropical. This will actually kind of keep blooming, keep budding up, so this is one that you can definitely transition outdoors. Chrysanthemums, another traditional favorite at this time of year for Easter, and you'll find them in a range of colors. I just want to highlight this one here. It actually kind of has a mix of different colors or different plants in one pot, so it's kind of like a little Easter basket of blooms. Azaleas is another popular one. You'll find these in full bloom. This isn't a hardy azalea, so that one kind of doesn't really transition outdoors very well, but nonetheless a wonderful plant for an Easter display. Cineraria is one of my favorites. It's a cool season annual. You'll find these planted in kind of warmer climates as a winter annual, but lots of great colors, and this one too can pop outdoors as a spring annual. You could even kind of pop this up into containers. Of course, bulbs, always a lot of different types of bulbs on display at this time of year. This is kind of your traditional bulb garden. It has tulips, hyacinths. Oh, look at that, some little muscari, some daffodils, hyacinths, so you get that wonderful fragrance as well. Of course, you can save the bulbs and plant those out in the garden as well. Lots of little 4-inch plants that you can incorporate, maybe even put them together in an Easter basket. Kalanchoe, Gabura daisy, and ranunculus is a great little plant. And this actually, the ranunculus is a bulb, so you can actually lift this one in the fall before the weather gets too cold, store them over the winter, and then replant them in the spring. Also an old-fashioned favorite, much like the azalea, African violets, also great at this time of year. Hydrangeas in full display. You'll find them in whites, pinks. You can see the blue hiding up the back there, and those are all wonderful. Of course, hydrangea, hydro meaning water. Make sure you keep your eye on the water. They do tend to use a lot of water at this time of year. Now let's get into the lilies. This one here is calla lily. I like the pure yellow at this time of year for Easter. You'll find them in some oranges, some lavenders as well. Without a doubt, the favorite at this time of year is, of course, the traditional Easter lily. It's actually native to Japan, and up until World War II, they were actually kind of grown mostly in Japan. The bulbs would go from England and then to the US. Of course, with World War II, that supply from Japan dried up, so they're pretty much predominantly grown now in the Oregon area, some other parts of the southern United States. A traditional favorite, of course, for the pure white bloom. I like to buy them at this stage. Firstly, lots of different buds, maybe 5, 7. Pick one that has a lot of different buds and at least one bloom that's about to break open. I tend to avoid buying them in full bloom like this because the flowers just don't last that long, and you can actually make the flowers last a little bit longer by removing the pollen. I'll just do that. Be careful because that yellow really stains your clothes, so just be careful of that. But once you remove that, this flower will actually remain in bloom a lot longer than if the pollen was on there. Now, they like to be around 60 degrees, somewhere in there. Bright window is okay, but not too bright, and you'll be able to hold them that way for Easter. And of course, I want to mention, I'll transition right to the pansy ball. Although this is kind of more of an outdoor plant, I think they'll be just fine on a table for an Easter celebration. And the best thing, of course, you can transition these outdoors as well. And I should mention the Easter lily, you can pop that outdoors as well. So what temperature is critical for all these plants to transition outdoors? Well, you want night temperatures to be about consistently 50 degrees. That's kind of like the green go light for all these plants that are in bloom, that you can take them outside. Hopefully that's not too much longer, but you never know. As I said, April is kind of one of those hickle-pickle months when it comes to weather. And also, finally, make sure you use like a little tray or something like this to protect your furniture when enjoying these wonderful plants indoors. And don't forget, take them outside in the spring. Back to you.
Oh, that's
Pickle,
so
pickle.
nice.
That's a new one.
I know, we haven't heard that one.
He's really trying to make it happen.
I
too.
like it, though.
He doubled down.
When I was in New York City over the weekend with some friends, and we were just out walking, and there were pansies, and
Really?
everything was a lot of
Outside?
Outside, yep. There were they were
Flowers?
There were flowers
Flowering?
outside, yeah, and there was a magnolia. I think it's a magnolia tree. There was just green and color, and it was just nice to just walk around and see color and green, and
get
just
there
brings your
eventually.
spirits up,
Right.
For sure.
Right. We'll get there.
Right.
Right.
We will.
All right.